Greetings, Knowledge Seeker. Welcome to Conan References in Conan Exiles, Part 3. A warning for the weak and weary, turn back now, for there be spoilers ahead. The Great Winged Bat Demon is the first creature you can encounter once you are released into the exiled lands, and it may be a reference to The Veil of the Lost Women, written by Robert E. Howard and published many years after his passing. As far as I can tell, this is the closest the Robert E. Howard Conan tales get to having a bat demon. The Veil of the Lost Women follows a noblewoman from Ophir named Livia, but our attention will be focused on the happenings at the end of the story, where Livia found her way into an otherworldly valley overflowing with orchids, a valley inhabited by a tribe of unusual women. A tribe that wanted to sacrifice Livia to their dark deity. A monstrous bat-like being that appeared out of the sky and descended towards the altar upon which Livia was being offered to it. Fortunately for Livia, Conan intervened before tragedy could strike. He battled and slayed the bat-like creature. The first description of the bat-like being comes to us in a scene where Livia was on the altar stone, which reads, "First, high above her, she saw a black dot among the stars, which grew and expanded. It neared her. It swelled to a bat, and still it grew, though its shape did not alter further to any great extent. It hovered over her in the stars, dropping plummet-like earthward, its great wings spread over her. She lay in its tenebrous shadow." And a few rows further, we are given another description snippet, which reads, "Now it hung directly over her, and her soul shriveled and grew chill and small at the sight. Its wings were bat-like, but its body and the dim face that gazed down upon her were like nothing of sea or earth or air. She knew she looked upon ultimate horror, upon black cosmic foulness born in night-black gulfs beyond the reach of a madman's wildest dreams." The first description alludes to the entity being very bat-like in terms of outline or shape when it is far away from Livia, a likeness which persists even as it got closer to her. In other words, if the outline of the dark deity was bat-like, that could mean that the deity had two webbed wings, 2 legs, a webbed tail, maybe even large ears on its noggin. And if one were to continue on that train of thought, then Conan Exiles' Bat Demon is clearly inspired by this unnamed dark deity. There are other interpretations of this entity out there, of course, such as the one done by Manuel Sanjulian or the one by Peter Stanimirov. However, both of those interpretations lean a lot more into a devil-like representation of the dark deity, with horns and all, rather than one that would remind the viewer of a bat. Next, I want to point out another potential reference to the Veil of Lost Women that feels too intentional to be a coincidence. During Livia's descent through the veil, we are given this description snippet. "But so gentle were their slopes that when she stood on the valley floor, she did not have the feeling of being imprisoned by rugged walls." And then Livia continues her descent through the valley, which eventually is cut short as she is offered up as a sacrifice to the bat-like deity by the women of the Veil. Similarly, when you first step into the exiled lands, you do so in a desert, or more specifically put, a desert valley floor surrounded by gentle dunes of sand that do not make you feel trapped within the valley. You are free to climb any of them, as long as you don't try to pass the ghost fence. And if you continue to follow the path, if you let yourself be guided by the Stone Flag Road, you will eventually reach a bat demon, and in so doing, echoing Livia's journey through the veil. Come to think of it, one might also argue that the Tower of Bats is the inverse of that description of the veil. where instead of a valley, you have a peak. Instead of being surrounded by gentle slopes, you have rugged ledges. And instead of going down to reach the altar and the bat-like deity, you have stone steps to climb to reach the albino bat demon and the altar it's guarding. And with that turn of the page, we have reached another end. That's all for now. Remember to declare your allegiance by hitting subscribe and prove it by hitting like.
Live, love, burn with life, slay and survive. We will meet again, dead man.